Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. Today I'm going to talk to you about the top 5 DeFi tokens that I am investing in that I think you have a very good chance of earning 10x on your money or better, and so that you may want to check out yourself. Before we get into that, though, I would like you to click the subscribe button, click the notification bell if you haven't done already. It really helps us out if you subscribe to us, if you check out our other videos. If you watch to the end, it helps our average watch time. If you click the like button, all these things that we really appreciate. So please, if you wouldn't mind supporting us, that would be great. In addition to that, if you would like any assistance with international structuring, international tax planning, in other words, how to pay the lowest legal amount of tax possible, how to open offshore companies, offshore bank accounts, helping with doing that, asset protection, getting foreign residencies, citizenships, you want a second passport or something like that, reach out to us. You can book a call with me, clarity.fm/Michael Rosmer, which is a link below, or you can go to our websites, offshorecitizen.net and offshorecapitalist.com. Okay, let's dive into it. All right, so I've done a video previously on what is DeFi. For those of you who aren't familiar, really quick recap is that DeFi is decentralized finance. It is kind of what I call the third generation of cryptocurrency in kind of the finance space. It's really, really exciting because to me it solves a lot of the issues that there were in the first couple of generations. And it's really kind of the point where we're seeing money maturing. Now, my brother was talking to me about this today and he's asking like, hey, like, why should I be excited? You should be excited because of the fact that the pace of innovation is incredibly fast. So if we just think about, in any industry, the people who are improving the fastest will tend to win over time, so long as they can sustain that, right? And if you look at traditional finance, what's the pace of innovation? Like zilch, it's just crawls like a tortoise. It's horrible, right? Then you've got fintech. Now, fintech is coming they're going forward pretty quick compared to the traditional finance, right? DeFi makes fintech look really slow. Why? 3 reasons. First of all, because they don't have regulations, right? So regulations slow you down a lot. Second of all, it's open source. So basically you can go on pretty much any DeFi project is on GitHub. You can copy it like that. You can make modifications on it based on how it is that you want to improve, and you can launch your own project. That makes really, really fast iteration cycles. 3 is the fact that all these others are constrained by a lot of integrations, okay? So if you want to go and say, well, imagine you were launching some new project and you wanted to allow people to pay their bills, right? Well, you have all these different APIs with different utility companies, with different credit cards, with different whoever that you have to integrate with. This is really complicated to do. Here, you run something on, say, the Ethereum blockchain, and that's pretty much it, right? Like it's, now maybe you have cross-chain technologies, or you have wrapped BTC or Ren BTC, there's all different things like this. So there are a bunch of things that are really complex technically, but the degree to which you have to integrate with all these other things is much, much lower, which speeds up the development cycle really, really fast. And as a result, what we've seen in just a few short months in the DeFi innovation space is much greater than you've seen in years in fintech or probably decades in traditional finance. And that's really exciting, okay? It's become very useful for the first time. And as a result, I think that when you're betting on this, what you're doing is you're betting on the future. And so, generally the future is better than past. It's more likely that things are going to go there. So I think it's pretty good. At the same time, it's quite early. And so there's still quite a bit of upside. Now there's some extreme examples. I'd given one, I think in the previous video, where if you had bought the token Lend September 2019 and held till September 2020, you did 200x on your money. I mean, that's pretty insane. That's unrealistic. But for me, I'm looking for cases where I can do like 10x return, right? Over a couple of years or whatever. And there's a lot of those, just because of the fact that a lot of these projects, which are good, big, interesting projects, are $100 million to $500 million market caps, and they could easily be $10, $20 billion market caps, right? So assuming that the ecosystem continues to develop, which I think there's a lot of indications that it will, as well as the idea that more and more interest will come into this space and more money will come into this space, which again, I think it will. I think it's very promising, okay? So how would I look at this? Well, the way that I'm looking at it is, first of all, on the big thesis, is that the idea that a ton of money is going to come into cryptocurrency over the next few years is highly likely. And that's partially due to the on and off ramps, that's partially due to institutional acceptance, it's partially due to the fact that it's proven itself to have a reasonable degree of price stability, etc. Okay, all these factors, as well as I think a better understanding, are bringing a lot of money into Bitcoin. Okay, so the next 5 years of Bitcoin is probably going to be pretty bullish. However, even in like a bullish scenario for Bitcoin, it's not super exciting. Like you're not going to get 100x on your Bitcoin. Okay, I think that's virtually impossible to see happen. I think you'd be unlikely to get 20x on your Bitcoin, to be honest with you. You may, I think like 5x is probably reasonable, more so when it was a little bit lower, but it's still entirely possible here, and it could spike up a bunch above that during this time frame. So, but what we'll see is that in those cases, Bitcoin becomes a gateway to get into other crypto assets. Okay, so as money flows into Bitcoin, and the other wise is Ethereum, now people can start changing it into other places. And what do we know? What we know is that money follows yield, right? As things start to go up, people say, whoa, hang on. It's like, you made 10%? Well, my friend made 100%. It's like, really? Where did you make 100%, right? And people now start putting money there and you get this fallout. And so you get a lot more volatility in these DeFi coins, meaning that they can go down faster, but they also go up faster. What has happened in the market is that it kind of peaked early September, and it's come down quite a bit, in some cases like down about 80% from there, which is, I think, like a reasonable retracement. And so at this point in time, the prices are fairly reasonable for a lot of these projects, and I think they have a ton of upside. So we're going to go through the 5 that I personally am investing in, and I'm going to continue. My plan this week is to actually triple my positions in a bunch of these, and I'll probably go and I'll do another round or 2, depending on how things go. I'll limit the amount of my capital that I allocate there, but these are things where you have pretty substantial upside. So let's go through here. So number 1 is one called AAVE. What is AAVE? AAVE is a crypto lending platform. So this is pretty obvious that people are going to hold on to Bitcoin, et cetera, long term. And so they've got a lot of assets tied up there, a lot of capital tied up there, especially if it goes up, then there's a lot of net worth. People don't want to sell it because they believe in it, but what they want is they want to be able to access their money. So what can you do? You can borrow against it. The other thing is that if you have it, you can lend it so you can generate cash flow off it. This is really good because it keeps money or coins within the ecosystem, right? So to me, where they are at right now is 1/10 or less, probably more like 1/20th, where they can easily be within a few years. And so I'm buying AAVE. Number 2 is Uniswap. What is Uniswap? Uniswap is a decentralized exchange. So I personally use them. That's part of the reason that I'm big on it. Second of all, I have personally lost money in exchanges that went bad from exit scams, even in spite of being like super careful, like not storing money on the exchange, just bring the money in, selling it and pulling it out, and getting caught at the wrong time when they do some sort of an exit and losing thousands of dollars as a result. So I know that is a problem. I feel the pain there. Uniswap has grown from like next to nothing to being, I think it's the 4th largest exchange by volume already. And I think it's just super obvious to me that that is the way of the future. Like these decentralized exchanges will dominate the mainstream exchanges like Binance and Coinbase and Kraken and all these guys. So that I think is very bullish. The thing that goes along with that is it's way easier to list tokens on Uniswap. So it used to be there was kind of this closed garden. Binance would get paid to list your token on there, and it was kind of a scammy, manipulated thing. In Uniswap, it's really easy for new projects to list there, and so that's going to create a lot more engagement in that space. So Uniswap, I'm buying. It's doing very well for me. So far, I'm up like 60% or something like that. Number 3 that I think is quite interesting is Synthetix. What is Synthetix? Synthetix is a crypto derivatives platform. So to give you some concept, these guys have less than a $500 million market cap. The derivatives market is the largest market in the world. It's over $1 quadrillion. That's $1,000 trillion, okay? Largest market in the world. Now, that it's a little bit deceptive how they throw out that number because a lot of these assets kind of cancel each other out and they're not actually real things and stuff like this. But the point is it's a really, really big market. Synthetix is one of the most complex problems or complex projects within the world of crypto. And they're really the only ones who are doing a decent job of tackling this so far. Now it's possible other competitors come out, etc. I'll probably invest in them if I see somebody coming up doing something good. But I think that derivatives is a space that really makes sense in a crypto environment. And as a result, I'm really bullish, so I'm putting money in there. Number 4, there is something called the Oracle problem. Actually, this is going to be 4 and 5. So what is the Oracle problem? The Oracle problem is that if you understand crypto, what it's all based on is this concept of smart contracts, or at least a lot of it's based on that. And so in other words, I don't have to trust you, I don't have to trust somebody else. It's all in code. I can deposit an asset in there, and based on something happened, the code will determine what happens with those assets, right? Fantastic, wonderful. What's the problem? The problem is that you have a need to, like, how does the blockchain know what is happening in the real world, right? So let's use a real example. Say I wanted to buy a house, right? So normally what you do is you do it with lawyers and you have conveyancing process. So I would give the money to my lawyer. The other party would put the title in, give it to their lawyer, and basically the lawyers would swap, right? Everybody, once they made sure that the title was free and clear and all this other kind of thing, right? Is in the process, if there was a mortgage on it, the bank would get paid off, or the bank would only release the money when the title was swapped and it would get registered on there, all these kinds of things, right? So this is a bunch of intermediaries, and it's pretty expensive really for what's going on. You could in theory do that all in code in cryptocurrency, okay? So on the blockchain, that could all be done via smart contracts, and you could eliminate the middleman. Perfect. What's the problem? Well, the problem is, how do you know that the title has been put in there if the title isn't on the blockchain, right? So this is what we call the Oracle problem. The Oracle problem is, how do we see outside of the blockchain and connect that information in? So you could bet on the weather, you could bet on, a million different things. You need to have oracles. So the one that I'm investing in right now is Band, and then the last one is DOS. So these are both Oracle projects. I kind of looked at them as, I understand that project, that is a problem. And these guys, so number 1 is Chainlink, Band is number 2, DOS is further down. And there's some reasons. I view DOS as more of a long shot, but so it's higher risk, higher return. Band, I think, will probably do pretty well, because this is not, to me, a winner-takes-all market. There's a bunch of different possibilities. You could be on, there's a bunch of these that could all play out. So it's not like just because Chainlink is winning that it needs to be the other way. And Band is like less than 1/10 the size of, I think it's actually like 1/20th. I forget, I looked it up today, but around 1/20th the size of Chainlink. And so there's a lot of room to grow there pretty easily. And Chainlink can grow a lot as this becomes more popular and more significant. There's more apps built on there. So in my opinion, these 5 are the 5 that I'm putting money in. I think that all of them have at least 10x potential. I wouldn't put money in with them if there wasn't. They of course have downside potential. So personally should do their own research and all that kind of thing. But yeah, hopefully, those are some ideas for you of stuff that you may want to buy into. As I said, I'm going to continue buying them so long as they're at a reasonable price that I consider has pretty good upside. And, when we get past that, I'll let you guys know and, see what else is out there. So anyway, I hope that helps. As I said, if you want any assistance with international tax planning, if you have, crypto and you want to do crypto tax planning, that sort of thing, reach out to me. Forming offshore companies, opening offshore bank accounts, brokerage accounts, investments, residencies, citizenships, etc. You can book a call, clarity.fm/Michael Rosmer. Click the subscribe button, smash the notification button. If you liked the video, please let me know. Really helps out. If you have anything you'd like to see in a video, please, again, put it in the comments. And yeah, really appreciate you guys. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.